Right, I'm the artist taxi driver. This, my friends, is Pat Waterman. Pat Waterman from the Probation Service.
I'm the chair of Greater London Branch NAPO. NAPO is the Trade Union and Professional Association for probation staff.
How long have you been in the Probation Service, Pat?
Well, I've been a probation officer over 30 years, but I've been chair of this branch for the past 2 years.
Okay. First of all, where I grew up in Peckham, we didn't really talk to the police or the probation. They just said don't. So if anyone's from Peckham watching this, I'm not a grass, just talking to a probation officer.
Actually, I worked in Peckham for most of my professional life. I've worked Peckham.
Really? Peckham and Campbell, down that way?
That's where my area was until I took on the responsibility for being chair of the branch.
So right at this moment, right now, the government wants to privatise you.
They privatised the shirt off your back, this government, but now they're going for the probation service. They want to privatise the probation service, and we say probation's not for sale.
But it's not for sale, but it's also it's not a good thing, is it? That's really bad if they did that.
I can't begin to tell you. Well, I will begin to tell you how bad it is. Let me start. The probation service throughout the country is not a failing service. So there's really no need to do this. There is really no need. It's not a failing organisation. We have no need to be on special measures. One of the things they're saying, and I have some sympathy with this, is that nothing is being done for people who serve short-term prison sentences. Now, as I said, I've been a probation officer for over 30 years. When I started, we used to deal with all categories of people. We don't deal with people who are serving sentences under 12 months. So to say that the reoffending rates are going up in that group and then to blame us isn't fair.
Well, it's a lie, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lie. Yeah, okay, yeah, it's a lie. Actually, if you looked at the figures, for the people we work with, reoffending rates are going down. We're doing a good job. And that good job is being done by my members who work, I have to say, all the hours that God sends, because they're dedicated, hard-working people. Chris Grayling's got this notion that he's going to destroy the probation service. He's going to create a little public national service which will deal with what he calls high-risk offenders, and the rest of it he's going to put up for sale. Now, he does a lot of chatting about, oh, this is going to be innovative and you can put voluntary organisations. Oh, the voluntary organisations, no, it's not really directed at them. It's directed at Chris Grayling's friends. His friends in Serco, G4S. These are the people who are going to be putting bids in. And I don't know if I need to tell anybody, but these are companies that are failing. These are companies that are being investigated for doing things like they have a contract with the Ministry of Justice for tagging, for putting electronic tags on people. They're being investigated for tagging the dead, for tagging people who have left the country. They're under investigation. And you have to know that recently the chief executive of Serco fell on his sword and resigned. I bet he'll get a payoff. His payoff alone would probably fund the pay rise that my members haven't had for the past 3 years.
So what? This G4S and Serco, they are actually being investigated by the Serious Fraud Office.
Absolutely, but Chris Grayling hasn't ruled out that they'll be allowed to bid for these contracts to deliver services to the public. Now let's talk. I mean, obviously, as the chair of Greater London Branch, I have concerns for how this will impact on my members. But let me talk about how it will impact on the rest of society, because basically you've got a team of dedicated people who know what they're doing. You destroy all that and you parcel it out to your friends for profit. Now, come on, this isn't a sort of thing that should be done for profit. You know, personally, there's all sorts of I think there's all sorts of things that he's parcelling out that, and not just him, it has to be said, but he's parcelling out to be sold off. But seriously, you sell off and think you can make a profit out of helping people who have numerous problems, and that's what we work with every day. That's what I worked with every day of my professional working life. All
the departments in government, they want to privatise everything. You know, with our hospitals, they privatise welfare with A4E and Atos, the Royal Mail, the fire service, everything.
Absolutely.
But that's their primary purpose. That is this government's primary purpose, is to move public money into private pockets.
Now, he'll tell you, you see, if you pose that to him, he'll say, well, we're really concerned about reoffending rates. So we're really concerned about people who do short-term prison sentences and are kind of in and out like a revolving door. So you know what we say? We're the proven agency that can do it. Let us do it. Give us the money. Cost cutting. This is not going to save money. This is just going to actually put money into the hands of the shareholders. And we have experience of this in London because we've already had a part privatisation with what's called community payback. I mean, people might know it as community service. Serco are already providing that service in London. I have
Really? Are they?
Oh, yeah, and I have loads of information. They're not doing a very good job
But
at it.
if you think about it, right, they just want they want to get control of the workers. They think that I mean, what's their role as a government? Have they got any point? I mean, if everything's privatised, they're just looking after the corporation. What are they doing? Just collecting taxes and paying corporations?
Well, a lot of the taxes will also be spent on this exercise of privatising. It doesn't cost nothing to set it all up like that. We say we're doing a proven good job. There's 35 probation trusts all over the country, and all of them have been rated as either good or excellent. We're not failing. So you have to ask yourself, why does he want to do this? He says it's because I'm concerned about reoffending rates. We say, if you were concerned about reoffending rates, you'd give us more money. Why?
Exactly.
I suppose the thing is,
but what they want to do, they want your workers on their knees. They want your workers to reapply for their jobs. They want them half the pay they were going to get. They want 0-hour contracts for your workers, and they want no pensions for your workers. And that's for every worker in the public sector. And that's what this government's about.
If I disagreed with you, I'd say so. Which is why next week we're going out on strike. My members don't want to go out on strike. My members don't do that sort of thing. But for the fourth time in our over 100, I think it's 101 history, we're going out on strike. He's making us do this because he doesn't listen to the information that he's being given by the experts who do this job. And what I would like to know is, well, I'd like to know why. I know why he's doing. But the thing about probation is it's very small scale, and most people don't know about it.
It's about public safety, though, isn't it?
It's totally about public safety, because the trouble is you only ever hear about probation, unless, of course, you get in trouble yourself. You only ever hear about probation when there's a scandal. Fortunately, that's very few occasions. So you never hear about the good work. By definition, you don't hear about the good work. Now, we think that Chris Grayling is gambling with public safety, and he's ignoring all the evidence. Actually, right at the beginning of this year, when he put these proposals forward, and then there was a consultation period and people told him not to do it, what he actually said is, I believe it's going to work. Well, it's very hard to argue with such a fundamentalist.
But there's two things. He also wants to smash the Human Rights Act, and he's also he's completely obliterated legal aid. The whole justice system is being collapsed. No human rights, no legal aid, privatised probation.
Yeah.
I mean, so Serco and G4S are going to run the courts.
Yes.
They're going to run the probation, and they're going to run the prisons.
If he has his way, yes. And in my own small way, me and my members are standing up and saying no.
But I mean, the whole thing is that can you stop them?
We'll have a good go. We can stop them with if we get enough support. I have the support of my members. I have the support of my union. We are gaining support in Parliament. The more we go on like this, people are getting to know. Because as I say, probation's one of those things that, I mean, it doesn't figure high on people's radar, but it's actually something that everybody should be worried about.
But who's worried about it? The people out there are tuned in to the TV is God. The people out there are tuned in to the right-wing media that condemn nurses, that condemn firefighters, that ridicule anybody that goes out on strike, like teachers. I mean, these are the people that look after our children. How are you ridiculing them? How is people swallowing that?
I can't answer that. All I can do by going on something like this is to try and get a message out there to as many people as I can. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who have actually had dealings with probation, who have had their lives turned around, who have a bit like saying, be grateful to a probation officer for the help they've been given. It's really hard to change people's view when there is such an onslaught from the press. But we're trying. I've described this to my member as a big stone that we're pushing, and I do feel that it's starting to move. People should be concerned. People should be concerned about what's happening.
You know, I mean, in the end of the day, the workers, your members, I mean, the psychological torture that they're going under, the trauma that they're about losing their jobs, just like the people at Royal Mail, the firefighters. Firefighters have got a fantastic slogan. They say, we save people, not banks.
Right. We change people's lives, and we think that the people that we work with are not commodities to be bought and sold for profit.
How can we fight back against this government?
Well, everybody in this country is a citizen. So let's start by everybody writing to their MPs. The MPs work for you. They don't work for themselves, they work for you. So maybe we need to start generating big campaigns. I was in the House of Commons for the debate. I was actually disappointed by how few MPs were there.
How many was there?
I couldn't count, but not enough. I'd like to see the House full. The
MPs is that they're a bunch of wretches and liars and centaurs and wizards and bishops in there. They don't care about the people. They care about corporations.
Well, I'm going to have to say there are a few.
You count them on one hand.
Well, I'll count them on two hands. I mean, there are a few in there that actually are on our side.
But they haven't got enough voice. They haven't got enough. We need the people. We need the entire. We need a national strike. Unless the firefighters, the ambulance, the nurses, the teachers, the probation officers, unless everyone gets together and there's a national strike, a general strike, no one's going to take any notice.
Well, I'm only the chair of Greater London Branch. I can't possibly comment on that. But we are involved with the TUC and we are involved with other unions.
TUC need to get off their arse. They need to. I'm the ICE taxi driver. This, my friend, is the incredible Pat Waterman from the Probation Service.